We made it to the campground. We're at Lake Arrowhead for our May trip. Campground's all set up. It's pretty dark outside, that's why I'm filming in here, just so that there's a little bit more light. I'm pretty tired from the drive, so I'm just gonna make some dinner. I'll finish opening up all my stuff, getting everything laid out how I like it, and then I'm gonna get to bed. Tomorrow we're doing the hot spring in the morning, and then Sunday we'll probably do some off-roading. I came up here a while ago and did some off-roading, so that's the plan. Hot springs tomorrow with a pretty nice hike, and then off-roading on Sunday. All right, it's 6 a.m. We're on the trail to the hot springs. I think I can kind of see it along the ridge over there. We should be doing about 2.5 miles to get there, and then we'll hang out in the hot springs for a little bit. And I don't have much planned for today, so we can really spend as long as we want there. It's a little chilly this morning, about 48, 50 degrees, something like that. I'm not sure how much elevation change we'll have, but we are up in the mountains, and I believe we end up down in the desert, so I'm expecting some elevation change. Where I parked at the trailhead, there was a couple more cars parked, but then there was also some people just camping there, so not sure if all those cars belong to people that are coming onto the hot springs, or if they're just people that were camping back there. So yeah, we're gonna go down and follow the trail along the mountain there. All right, so we are about 1.8 miles in. Total trip should be 2.5 miles. So I think we can see the area that we're gonna be at from here. So the trail is just back there. Let's see if I can. All right, so the trail should be right there behind those wood bushes. Keeps on going down in there, goes down that ridge, and then I want to say down there is where the hot springs are going to be. If they're not there, then they're probably going to be at that other bend. Yeah, we're pretty close, just taking a little break, and then I'm going to finish the hike. Pretty excited to jump into these hot springs. I think there's supposed to be like 9 different pools, each one being slightly different temperature. So I don't really like too hot, so we'll see if I can find the one that's good for me. All right, gonna take a couple more minutes here just to relax, drink some water, and we're gonna finish the hike to go down there. All right, so I'm pretty close to finishing descending, but this last little section here is really steep. I'm actually a little bit worried about having to turn around and go back, because I'm not sure it's gonna take me forever to get back. It's probably what's gonna happen. But as I'm looking at some of these tracks, look at this. Those are Crocs. So if someone with Crocs was able to make it down and back up, I think I'll be okay. It might just take me a while, but it should be fine. So yeah, that's funny, man. Crocs. I don't know if you can see how steep it is, and then how much further we have to go down. And they chose to do it in Crocs. Funny. All right, see you guys at the water. All right, we made it to the hot springs. Pour right here. Another full bottle. Check out the lake behind us. So there's a couple other people that are camping here, so I don't want to film too much. But gonna hop in and enjoy the water. We are at the hot springs. So as you can see, this is where they're fed through. There's also another one right there, feeding the hot spring. Makes it nice and warm. And then it's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see, there's candles there. And then they definitely made this, but they put these little rocks, different colors and stuff all throughout, which look really nice. And there's more spots where they even put candles at night. Must be pretty cool. There was another spot too that had some pretty cool rocks. I think it was over here. Some quartz, I think that's quartz, who knows. So here's my understanding of how the hot springs work. You have geothermal water coming out of the earth, so this water is really, really hot. Yeah, you probably burn yourself with that. Then it runs down, and there's little pockets where it gets trapped, so you get pools. This one's pretty shallow, and this one would probably also be really hot because it's coming straight from the hot water. But then it runs down, and then I don't know if you can see it, but over there, just the little river, the creek that runs by. And so then when they mix, they make pools that are not too hot, not too cold. So I was down here for about an hour and a half. Time to start heading back up. Alright, so that's the first little piece. I'm already exhausted. Gonna put the camera on time-lapse mode, and we're gonna hike the rest of the way out. It's about, let's see, how far are we in? Got about 2 miles left. But really just this first piece is the hard one. After that is pretty mellow. Alright, time-lapse mode. about 5 p.m. back at campground. After the hike, I went into town and grabbed some lunch, and then it's kind of been like this gloomy, misty, light rain type of weather. So came back to the campground, took a little nap. I woke up a little while ago. I went in and did some scouting for some off-roading for tomorrow. Trails don't look too easy, too user-friendly. So I'll see tonight. I have cell service here, so I'm gonna look up some of the trails that I saw, see if I find an easier one, and then go into that one. But as you can see, we've got the firewood, so I'm gonna set up the fire. I'm gonna set up the wood right now so that once it gets a little bit darker, I can have my camp gear on fire. Still gonna do dinner. I have some of the dehydrated meals. That's pretty much it. So just gonna hang out here at campground for the rest of the day, and then tomorrow we'll do some nice little breakfast, and then a little bit of off-roading. I'll pack up everything, but I won't load up the bike just so it's not as heavy. We'll do the off-roading. I'll come back, I'll load the bike, and then we'll head home. We're not that far, we're about 2 hours, so I'm not in too much of a hurry to have to leave here early like I normally am, to be able to make it home at a good hour. Yeah, this trip was felt like it was a little bit shorter than the other ones. Mainly I think it's just the weather didn't allow me to do as much as I normally do. So gonna hang out here, relax, set up the campfire. See you guys in a bit. Alright, so we got most of camp taken down. It is about to be 9 o'clock. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do any off-roading. Trails that I checked out yesterday were all kind of medium difficulty and by myself without my actual motorcycle boots and all the gear that I have. I don't know if I want to try it. There was one trail that looked like might be worth a shot, and it was pretty short, so maybe we'll go do that one. But yeah, campfire, and then I already had breakfast, so pretty much the morning is over. Just gonna finish packing up, getting everything ready. It was kind of like sprinkling last night, or like just like misty, so the tent and the rain fly on top were all kind of damp, so I'm trying to let them dry out in the sun. I have the rain fly on the motorcycle over there in the sun. So yeah, I'm gonna finish packing everything up, and then I'll take everything up to the bike, and then we'll decide if I'm gonna do some off-roading riding or if we're just going home. So see you guys in a bit. Alright, we made it home. I'm gonna go ahead and unpack some of the gear, but to finish out the video, part of our tradition, got the Lake Arrowhead sticker. We're gonna put it on. I already cleaned off some of the dirt from the trip. So, there we go. All right, slowly but surely the boxes are getting filled up. These are from July trip, not this year's adventure series. So far we've done these 4 on the bike, and then we did one more place on the car, Kings Canyon and Sequoia. So that's why those stickers are on here, because that was a car adventure, not a bike adventure. All right, so that was the May trip. I'm not sure if it's June or July. I don't know. I have a pretty cool trip coming up with a group, and then September there's gonna be an awesome trip. August there's gonna be an awesome trip planned. So I'll see you guys in the next video.